had shoes, and people would start to get very sick. One of our mates, Bob Broadbent, he got stones somewhere. He was in a hell of a lot of pain. 4 of us put a sack over his sticks and carried him for a couple of days, a couple of nights I should say. But when we got to the camps each time, we sort of got to a camp that wasn't prepared. We had to do a bit more work around it to clean it up or rest. So firstly, you never got much rest because we had to work on these camps and clean them up, improve them, or whatever they'd done, dig toilets and things like that. And our Bob Broadbent carried him some time and let him off. Because it was 2 or 3 lots help with the carrying. But there was another fella, Teddy Norman, he got lifted, carried like that, and when they got to where they wanted to go, he got off his stretcher and went down the river and had a swim. The fellas that carried never had energy to walk to the river, so that's the difference in the type of fellas you had. But we helped a lot of people. One stage the officer said, better put something white on your back. So everybody had white mug or a white bit of something on their back, so you see the fellow next door. Funny, so you could lose him.
Yeah. Who was the officer that said that? Do you remember?
No, I wouldn't remember the officer's name.
Do you remember any of the doctors that were marching up with you?
I wouldn't remember any of the doctors. Because I was fit, you see, they didn't have to attend me.
Yeah.
When I say I was fit, I was walking.
Yeah. I understand.
Anyhow, we got up this place one time, there was a 10-minute spell, and I had a guy in front of me without the white thing on his back. And I said, why don't you put something white on your back? He said, I don't have to. Well, we talked, we did have 50 cuffs. We stood up and I hit him, I don't know who the hell I hit from that day to this, but he never hit me. You know, I went behind somebody with a white thing behind his back. The Japanese used to have fires along the way that stops where we were, quite big bonfires, and they used to light them so that the tigers wouldn't get them. I don't know why that was, because the tiger had hundreds of acres of other jungle to be in and look after it if they wanted to. But we used to love these fires because we used to have these little midgie flies eating the hell out of us, and we used to stand by these fires and the heat would drive them all away for about 10 minutes. Oh, it's beautiful, get all these midgies off us. Now we kept marching till we got to Nicky. We marched 18 days with 6 nights rest. So you guess we were pretty dilapidated by the time we got up there with very little food. And got to Nicky. And when I got to Nicky with several others, we saw this green crop. Looked like a pea crop. So being ignorant South Australians, we started to find out what it was. They're peanuts. So we learned how peanuts grew then. They grow something like a potato underneath the ground. But we couldn't eat them, they were too raw. From there I had a few days in Nicky, then I went to Lower Sonkarai and done a bit of work there on the railway and things like that. But then it started to rain. It rained for 3 weeks and never stopped. And I tell you, that's a lot of water comes down when it rains for 3 weeks. We were taken out to work on the railway doing embankments at that stage, and you used to dig it. When we first started, we dug a metre square and we came home. Like idiots, we finished at 3 o'clock, first few days. Then it got to 2 metres, so we came home at 6 o'clock. This would be 3 or 4 of you in a trench, and you dig, three fellas dig 3 square metres. So we to get home at 6 o'clock today. That wasn't no good to the Japs, so it got to 4 metres. Well, then you work out till 10 o'clock at night because time 6 o'clock came, we had no energy with no food, and we just kept, getting weaker and weaker.
Who was the Australian officer in charge of Shimoniki?
I didn't really see any officers on the force at all.
No.
Usually sergeants took us out.
Yeah.
Mostly I went with sergeants.
What about the doctors?
I never saw any doctors out on the job. They might have been with some people,
No.
not me. I never saw doctors up there.
What about the Japs? Did you ever come across
Oh,
Colonel?
the Japs were right alongside you.
Yeah, did you ever come
And
across?
if you straightened your back, they were on you.
Did you ever see Colonel Bano?
Oh yes, yes, little fella.
When did you see him?
He used to be raving and ramping around the camp. We usually when we were going out in the morning, he wanted to say 500 men, and doctors say we've only got 400, you can't have them.
Was it really?
Then he'd ramp until the other 100 come out.
Are you sure it was Bano that you were seeing?
Well, I'm sure he's a little short for, I believe. He used to do a fair bit of it.
Did he have imperial ribbons on?
Yes, he did have ribbons
Right.
on. Yes, he did have army ribbons on. Yes.
Okay,
And,
so
anyhow, we used to carry this dirt up and put it on the embankment, which was about 1 metre high, and the rain used to wash it all back in the hole we just dug, so we finished up with slush in there, and didn't make any difference, wasted our time. So in the meantime, they decided not to build the railway, and the road, they wanted to build a road through there, so to get their vehicles through with stores, but the road was potholey, there's holes in it, and the Japanese had some fella standing in a creek, and the little river stones, about 2 inches, they were putting them in these little baskets. We were walking a mile back and dropping them in these mud holes. Well, nothing happened, a truck had come over, they were all buried in the slush. So our officers decided to build corduroy roads, which meant that you had a 6-inch tree trunk on the ground, and then you put 4-inch or 3-inch logs across about 9 feet long, and then you tied it down with small ones on the top with a bit of stuff, and of course the trucks could then mount the corduroy road and go over the top of it and get back on the reasonably solid soil again. And now we done a lot of that, and now they were building a bridge about 3 miles down, and I got on this bridge. No, it weren't, that's right, it was a little a landing, and they used to have a boat there that they had a rope on it, they used to pull it backwards and forwards, but somehow this rope got on the same side as the boat, and they couldn't pull it back. So I was standing there with Bill between it, from Oberthal. The Jap, he had his pack on the back like we all had, and the Jap pushed him in the river, because Bill was a non-swimmer, so 2 of our fellas had to dive in and pull him out. Eventually a fella went over and pulled him out, and one fella took the rope over the other side, so he could pull this small boat backwards and forwards. In the meantime, I got put on building this new wharf they were building, about 9 feet, 3 metres long, and about, it's just above seawater, but they had these planks in there, and they had to put the rails around the top ones were all right out of the water, but they decided to put one about 8 inches below the water, with a 1/4-inch hole, with a 1/4-inch bolt, and I had to hit a 1/4-inch bolt and a 1/4-inch hole. Well, it's a very hard thing, because if you took the hammer back too far, you never had enough energy to hit the bolt, and you got hit over the head. And if you didn't take it far enough, it made no impression, you got another hit on the head. So every 10 strikes, you would eventually hit the bolt right, and you feel it go in about a 1/4 inch. I was on that job for 3 days. I've never been belled over the head so much in all my life. I got malaria, and that's the best thing that ever happened to me. I got off that job. I was very thrilled about that. Yeah. So a bit later on, I was out in another party. I was out on my 21st birthday, 24th of May, and I was in the ward with malaria, and I got dragged out to go on this, dysentery, and I was told I had to go out to work with another 20 or 30 people. I said to the guys, it's my birthday today. I said, I had a dysentery. They said, when you get out where we're going, we'll put you in the jungle, and you'll sit there all day, and if the Japanese come along, we'll tell you, you're gone for a benjo. That was the toilet.